has expired. I call Ian McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, the last speaker certainly showed up her leader. She got more words out in 10 minutes than he got out in 20. Unfortunately, it was about as factual as his speech was the day before yesterday. So, Mr Speaker, I just need to point out a few facts in the process of supporting the two ministers who have spoken before me in the Border Processing Arrivals and Departures Levy Bill. For a start, a levy's a levy, a rate's a rate and a tax is a tax. And clearly the Labor Party haven't worked that out. Secondly, the government is charged with running the country. The Labor Party have clearly forgotten that they had a turn at doing that a while ago and didn't do much of a job of it. Mr Speaker, the issue we've got here is that we have a large number of people coming into this country, demanding a service of this country, creating a threat to this country in that we need to protect our border at all costs. We now have some 5.2 million people coming here annually. Well over 55 to 60% of those people are foreign visitors coming to this country. We've seen from the fruit fly just very recently in Auckland that there is significant risk to New Zealand. I just want to make a couple of other points before I finish, Mr Speaker. Firstly, the taxpayers of New Zealand have been paying for this service for a long time. The average taxpayer in my electorate never leaves this country. The interesting thing about this is most of the people who use this service are people who can afford to pay for the service, and consequently, Mr Speaker, I think there's a very fair way of allocating a levy or a charge to achieve a result for this country that will be much better than we've seen before. It gives us some security, it gives us a permanency of payment, and it alleviates the need for a large number of New Zealand taxpayers who never use or have an interest in the service to contribute to it. One other point I want to make in this debate is that this country is significantly tested around infrastructure by the large number of visitors we have to this country. And I think it's been pointed out some 5.2 million people came to the country last year. Mr Speaker, in my electorate I have a couple of little towns, Sanson and Bulls. There's some 14,000 vehicles a day go through those towns. Those local ratepayers or taxpayers have to pay every bit of that bill. And so, Mr Speaker, I think this is just another case of exactly that sort of thing going on. Mr Speaker, I have a great deal of pleasure supporting this bill. Thank you.
I call James Shaw.